Awesome. Thank you so much, Graham. Appreciate you. Everybody send your gratitude there. We can't do what we do without our incredible ops team. Go figure. So without further ado, welcome. I am so excited to share with you the secrets, the no-brainers on how to build a shift-proof operations team. Just so I'm clear on who we have here, if we can use the chat box, now y'all are automatically muted. So if you can use the chat box really quick, I want to know what your current role is in your real estate team and or operation. Oh, lots of DOOs, lots of directors. We got tech in the house. Hello, Christian. He's in our communities. We got, lots of DOOs, right, Graham? You seeing that? EAs, TC, lots of DOOs, TC, multiple roles. Can we just say if you're a director of ops, you are the doer of all things? Hashtag that's all. So, and you might be an executive assistant that is doing all of the things that a DOO does. So just wanted to touch base there and see who we have. We have an incredible presentation for you, hopefully to get your mind stretched and thinking a little bit differently on how important and vital the roles in a real estate operation are. So without further ado, Graham, if I can get access to share my screen, I would love to pull up some fun slides for y'all.
You bet. Co-host time. There you go.
All right. Thank you, sir. Okay. So right out of the gates, how to build a shift-proof operations. So first and foremost, and like I said, if you are a DOO, chances are you're the doer of all things. If you are a director of operations, you have an operation to direct. Now, you might be a TC, a listing manager in one role. You might be, if you are a true definition of DOO, though, you have a transaction coordinator or multiple, maybe even a cyberbacker and listing managers reporting to you. So the first round, which is most important, is secret number one. We cross-train. There is no I in team. If you ever want to see this coach kind of come unglued, it's when I hear, oh, I'm not going to do that. That's not my job. Are you kidding? We are in a shifted market, y'all. So job descriptions, if you read page 42 of Shift, we're doing more with less. So job descriptions have kind of shuffled a little. Can I get a thumbs up if you, since the shifted market, has your job adjusted just a little bit in some way, shape, or form, or completely flipped over on its head? If so, you're not alone. That's what happens in a shifted market. So with that being said, if you are listing manager, TC, DOO, you should know how to cover for the other person. Now, I'm not saying that that's what you want to do, or that's exactly what your job description is, or it entails. Yet, what the heck happens if your TC goes on vacation? And what happens to all of our clients that are currently pending? If we are stuck in that, which many teams are, if you find yourself stuck in that, or same thing with the listing manager, if we can't leave town because we can't afford to get a listing can't go on the market, we are the system. That means that the system is not the system. So how we break through that is we cross train together. We do more together. So especially if you're a DOO, I'm coming at y'all, and little piece that I didn't get to do to introduce myself. I'm Nicole Zuber, Executive Operations Coach here at MAPS, and also the KW Operations Community Leader. I've been in the industry for 20 plus years, and I've served every role in a real estate operation. I'm the girl that understands sales and knows how to clean up the mess at the same time. So I get to poke fun at all the roles. How's that sound? Because I've served in them. So going back to that, we want to be scaled. And when your system is scaled, it's easier to cross-train. But fact of the matter is people deserve vacations. We're all working like crazy right now. And if you can't at least cover a couple of files while somebody is out of town or sick or whatever, that puts the business in a very, very vulnerable position. And that's not fair to you, and that's not fair to the team. Make sense? Awesome. Okay, I'm seeing some of y'all. So what are the benefits of cross-training? Well, it's a great ROI, kind of a no-brainer. There's no I in team. And if you are a transaction coordinator and your natural or innate ability isn't to constantly be coordinating, photography and writing remarks and stuff like that a listing manager does, it's okay. Anybody can do anything. We're not asking you to do it as your entire role, but if somebody gets sick or goes out of town, you should be able to pick up the slack for your team members. It makes us shift proof. If you're a DOO and you don't know how to input a listing, or you don't know what it's like to take a contract to close, how the heck are you operating are you directing any sort of an operation? Now, I've coached many, many teams who have brought in professional directors of operations from corporate America and plugged them into our fun world of real estate. It's black and white every day, right? No. You need some serious agility. You need some serious agility as a director of operations. And so I'm not asking you to go and take over the TC's job, but if you are, as a DOO, supposed to be leading these people, how are you going to earn that respect if you don't know what it's like? You might have to put a couple under your belt just for the experience. I like to learn in the trenches. That's what I do best. So maybe take on a couple of files, or have your TC lead you through a couple of transactions and so your job as DOO is you're supposed to build, improve, and implement systems and scale systems. So if you don't know how to do that, come alongside the people that you're in business with, and it creates such a balanced culture, going to put our ego aside and be the best versions of ourselves that we can be. Nobody has it all figured out, by the way. So employees are better. They're able to collaborate. What I'm saying, like, it kind of levels the playing field if we're growing. Your gift as a DOO may be scaling and understanding systems. Go jump into the dang system. You're not stepping on people's toes. Ask for permission and explain why you want to do this. It increases employee motivation. It makes your company more agile. Y'all, we are dealing with houses and humans. There is not like a simple checklist that's going to be the same every day. Now, the root foundation of communication should be very scaled, and making sure we're constantly delivering an extraordinary client experience, transaction over transaction. Yet things come, especially in the shifted market. Show of hands, or use the chat box. How long have you been in the industry? I want to see. Got lots of DOOs here. 4 years, 7 years, 8 years, 6 months, welcome. 2 years, welcome. 3 years, welcome. 30 years. That's awesome. Oh, that was Miss Mary Lou, rock star. Okay, so for all y'all that have been in this industry for, let's just say, I don't know, 4 years, what was happening 4 years ago at this time? Oh, we were starting to prep to go into pandemic. If you've been in this industry for 4 years or less, you have lived through probably 3 to 4 different markets, historic times. So if we don't know how to cross trade, and we don't know how to move with the market, or at least start reading, actually not at least move with the market, you definitely want to start leading and reading what's happening in the market so we can start planning for what's ahead, so we can adjust our systems and our processes. And that takes time. So if you've been in the industry longer than 5 years, you have, prior to COVID, that was still a very, very much an upswing from, I'll say, 2013 to where we are today, where things are starting to, where some of y'all are feeling like, woo, a nosedive. It's actually a market correcting itself. So with that said, let's rock and roll. So hopefully you get some clarity on the importance of cross training. Super important. Nobody succeeds alone. It takes teamwork. And if you're not sure how to approach a team member and say, hey, I do want to understand this role so that I could cover for you when needed. If you approach somebody and they take offense to that, we got a whole nother different level of problems. And you could email me personally. I'll help you work through that. All right. Game on. So Kronk. I kept saying doing more with less. The next way is managing finances. So you might not have your hands on the books and analyzing a P&L at the highest level. That's fine. That's not what we're talking about here. Kronk is doing more with less. It's an acronym. Now I'm going to go through that with y'all, what that means. So it's basically remargining your business. So an example of doing that is on the 15th of every month, you could block off time and sit. It says 2 to 3 hours. If you start 30 to 60 minutes, I'd be happy. It's better than what most people do. So we're going to evaluate the expenses. So I'm going to challenge you. If you're a listing manager and you don't have your hands on the exact P&L, but you are responsible for accounts payable and you see invoices coming in, itemize those invoices and evaluate them. I'm going to explain that in a second. If you're a TC and you same thing and you see expenses coming in and you don't have the full training and capacity yet of the GCI and the cost of sale, which we go through in the perfect operations team, it's okay. Start with just what's in your lane and then maybe look at them and evaluate. If you're a DOO, your hands, remember you're directing an operation. So your hands should be involved in a lot of this as well. So K of Crunk, keep. Go through your expenses. What do we keep? What are the bones of the business? Now, last time I checked, I think listings might be in trouble if we don't have signs and lockboxes. That might be a listing expense that you see, coming in through the supply. Writers, like those things cause leads to come in. So we're going to keep those things. Replace. Are there other products? So that's the R in the Kronk. Are there other products and services that are similar that we can deliver the same result, but maybe get a better price on? Food for thought. What are some of those things? You're going to have to look at your expenses and think. Might be a platform. It might be a signed service company that y'all are using. So there you go, how that pertains to operations. Offset of the O of Kronk. Who could we partner with? Obviously, always staying in in our guidelines, making sure we're not breaking the law. And so who can we partner with? Is there a lender that would help us, that would like to sponsor something for us and contribute to a certain expense? Is there a home inspector that we could run a contest with? Is there a painter? So who could help either contribute as a promotion or help us pay for the cost? Obviously staying in our regulation lines. So the N of Kronk is negotiate. So I use that a little bit with the R. So think about where the little conversation, formerly known as scripts, what that sounds like is, say you are on a platform that you're looking to change and you could see a much better deal, and you really like the platform that you're in and all your systems and models are already scaled or systems are there scaled. Maybe you pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, we're thinking about looking at another place. We've been shopping and platform A or platform B is like 30% less than what we're currently at. Would you be willing to work with us so we don't have to move? It's not bold, or that's just protecting your business and becoming an asset in the business, not waiting for a rainmaker to do all those things. So the C of Kronk is cut. What is nickeling and diming us to get to death that has to go? i.e., what are we spending money on that isn't going to cut our feet off and is bringing zero value? So if you have that expense sheet and you see, oh my gosh, we are paying for this, 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 and this, and two of those things, we don't even use them anymore, please raise your hand and let your rainmaker or somebody know, hey, oh, Marie's hitting it hard. Could be. It is a lot when I see it. Now we're speaking code. Okay, Kronk. So doing more with less. I hope that this is giving you insight on how to be more of an asset than anything. Now the next round of shift proof, reviews and referrals. Oh, 4 years, no, it's actually about 4.5 years ago when Monica Reynolds asked me to take over as head coach for KW operations, head for coaches. I was on a mission to make sure that operation departments all over our industry know how to win and lose in the game. Prior to that, there wasn't a mathematical equation that allowed us to do so. Reviews and referrals are they're the lag measure of an extraordinary client experience and a scaled system. So you know how agents and their GPSs and their 411s, they have number of closings, number of contacts, yada, yada, yada. We have cracked the code on how to do that with our operations team. And if you're in charge of, if your role is contract to close, listing management, overseeing the systems of the operation and the financials, and just think of the number of closings that we've had year to date. Just, you don't have to say it, just think about that. How many homes and families have we served year to date? And whatever that number is, have we received that many 5-star reviews? If the answer is no, we can help you with that. If the answer is no, I want you to imagine if we would have received that many 5-star reviews, what would our system and process have to look like for you to feel confident to ask for that? If you know the answers and you're starting to think of gaps in your business, that is a sweet spot that you need to start working on. You're just answering your own question. So, like I said, reviews and referrals, they measure performance. They measure a scaled, extraordinary client experience. We're going to show you how there's 3 to 5 trigger points, if you will, in a transaction where it is organic and natural to ask for those reviews and or referrals. So the next round is bulletproofing the transaction. Type yes if you have read Shift, if you've read the Shift book. Awesome. There's a great handful of y'all on here. And your homework is to turn around and go reread it. And if you haven't, your homework is to turn around and read it. So it is really the premise. What I'm delivering on this webinar for you today is basically how an operation shows up in a shifting market. I'm going to teach you how to do that and show up and be part of the solution, not the water cooler chatter of, oh my gosh, you don't have any business, and oh my gosh, our rainmaker's not doing this. Like, let's be the solution, not the problem. So let's talk about the 6 ways to bulletproof. So this is in the Shift book. I did not reinvent this. Tactic 12 of Shift. And it is evergreen and timeless. That darn book was written in the demographic cliff of a downfall. For those of us who've been in this business 20 plus years, yeah, we saw that one. It wasn't fun. And because I barely survived that storm, I am on a mission to make sure that the people that are in my world know and have the thinking to keep themselves and their businesses protected from that. So let's talk about the six ways that deals possibly could fall. And so this section of Shift, Tactic 12, is about being proactive, not reactive. It's about reading things and staying ahead of the game. In an operation, chances are we are recovering perfectionists. I know that I am. We like things all in order and put together nicely and scaled. And stuff could still go haywire. So depending upon your market, inspections and repairs, you've been in this industry for like 4 years. Actually, no. If you've been in this industry for a year or less, you've seen inspections and repairs adjust a little bit. So this is straight out of the book. What could go wrong? There could be unexpected findings, report complexities, cost of who pays for what. When production is high, drama is low. When production is low, people kind of get on edge. So let's be proactive because things do pop up. Every time that interest rate goes up, buyers and sellers kind of get scattered and scared. 2 years ago, what the heck? Our conversation with our buyers were like, hey, this is what you're going to do. You want to get into this market? You're going to overpay. You're going to settle on a property. The seller's not going to take care of things that they would otherwise. And oh, by the way, you're going to go into multiple offer situations like 30 different times to get the snot knocked out of you. And then you get your house. I see you chuckling, y'all. Yes, that was what the conversation was. Now today, as the market has increased I'm treading lightly when I say this because I know I have people from all over the country. As inventory and opportunities are starting to increase a little bit more, maybe the time on market is increased a little more. Buyers are like sitting back and saying, not sure that I will settle on this. So these next steps are ways that you can do to set the precedence. So Sellers could get a pre-home inspection. Now there's pros and cons to that, and that's up to your licensed agent to disclose those to your client. You could do pre-negotiation limits. They can select supervised vendors and prepare and I think this one is the most important one out of all these solutions, is to prepare and reassure the buyers. Prepare for them. This is what's going to happen now that we're under contract. These are the bridges that we're going to cross. And I'm bringing this to you too, TCs and DOOs who should be leading TCs. Prepare them. This is, you're going to have a home inspection and we're looking for things that could affect the integrity and the value of the property. If you're just throwing 500 things and, oh my gosh, I want this, screws on the cabinet tightened. Come on. People are buying and selling now because they have to, not because they want to. So when the motivation has changed. Appraisals, kind of same thing with the home inspection. If we're not setting the precedence as what's happening there, they don't come up with what's happening in the price. Like if we don't come to terms on the price or the appraisal doesn't come in at value, there's 1 to 3 things that happen, 1 to 4 things that happen. And we teach you that conversation in the Perfect Operations Team class. So if you can provide the appraiser with research and obviously keeping in your ethical guidelines, there are things that you can do. You can find additional buyer funds. We could appeal the appraisal. You don't want to scare the heck out of the buyers, yet when you are setting the precedence of these are things that we're seeing happening, and this isn't to scare you, Mr. Buyer or Mrs. Buyer. We just want to make sure that if we do cross this bridge, there's going to be a solution and we're going to work through it. Loan approval and funding. There's a difference there. So I cannot be the only person on this Zoom who has literally gone to a closing table. There was a signing and we're heading over to the U-Haul and you're going to bring a fabulous basket and charcuterie and wine over to their house. And you get the call at 4:50 that the loan hasn't funded. Can't be the only person there. It happens. So again, staying ahead of the game and being a solution, not a problem. How do we handle those types of scenarios? Well, it's not designed to scare the heck out of the client, but when you're saying, when you're onboarding a contract to close client and you're explaining these are the things that could happen, we're not anticipating for them, but if they do, we really want to make sure that, we're going to work really diligently and hard and there's things that are out of our control. It's easier to be the solution and not having to just be the messenger that gets stomped on. Been there, done that too. Other contingencies, we know that those come up left and right. What could go wrong? Well, there could be a triple, quadruple, I don't know. I wonder what the record is. 10 properties that are lined up in a domino chain before, and ours is the last one that closed. Like once all those 9 properties closed, then we were the 10th one that we execute. A lot of that's out of our control. All of the other dominoes ahead, third-party approvals, reload, short sales. Those are things. And if you don't know what they are, well, they are just different ways to transact real estate. And I challenge you to go do some research on that. So what are solutions? You could take backup offers to your seller. You know how to communicate, which we teach you a lot of those conversations in our course so that you could be ahead of the game. Knowing the timetable, preliminary title searches, etc. All right, so those were the 6. Or the 4. The 5th is the co-op agent. Aren't co-op agents the best? They really are. When you have an extraordinarily skilled person that is running contract to close, listing management, or even if DOOs, some of you might have your hands on the files, just checking in. Why in the world? It takes 2 sides of the party to transact. How well are we taking care of the cooperative agent? Are we ahead of them? If you're finding yourself educating a cooperative agent on the other end and it's frustrating you, I'm going to tell you that is a compliment. There are a lot of realtors out there. I mean, everyone's a realtor, right? A lot of them on the other end, they might not know what we have at Keller Williams. They might not know what it's like on the other side. They might not have webinars and free classes like this where they can start thinking differently. So take it as an opportunity. They're part of the client. So in the Perfect Operations team, we teach our administrative roles how to cross train, but also that there are 3 clients. There is the agent on our team that we're helping buy their time back so they can go lead generate. Yeah. Then there is the actual client who we are delivering a scaled extraordinary client experience to, transaction over transaction. And the third is the cooperative broker that you might have an opportunity to show them a different experience when it comes to being at a brokerage. So just be ahead of them. So we do that by clarifying our message and our intentions. We show you how to do that, own the process and communicate it, and provide selections of lists and backups should something fall apart. The 6th is why deals fall apart is deadlines. Whew. Speaking of which, I know I'm running over. So thank you for your patience here. So things that could go wrong: inspections, closing dates. We've already talked about this. Approvals. Go to the shift book and reread through this. So you want to confirm appointments and processes. Build in buyer and seller flexibilities, and that's easy to do when you set the stage to do that, because then you remind them, hey, when we had that conversation a couple of weeks ago, this has come up, and this is how we're going to work through it. And then manage a closing checklist. One thing that is not on here that should be is have an I wanted to say exploratory. Have an expectations conversation. So every time we onboard a file, we should be spending 20 to 30 minutes with the client going over, this is the process. This is when I'm in the office Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. And in the event that I'm not, you can do X. That's not up to me. That's up to you. That's your business. So I want to show you how to stay proactive there. So what's in it for you? Well, if you want to really learn how to go deeper in this and learn those conversations, we're going to spend in the Perfect Operations team 6 weeks in each role. 6 weeks in the listing manager role, 6 weeks in transaction coordinator role, 6 weeks in director of operations role. As you can tell, I'm super passionate and I advocate for our operations team to be the best that they can be and to have a voice. Y'all's role is so important, and the agents can't do what they do without you. And guess what? We can't do what we do without them. So I want to help you channel your job description. So we go over in each role 6 weeks: job description, 30, 60, 90, growth plan, GPS, 411, and the metrics and the numbers to help us know whether we're winning or losing. Oh, and by the way, we give you all the blueprint checklists and scripts, or conversations formerly known as scripts. So it's live. It's a 6-month course with me. So I will be your coach and I will hold you to it. And we have homework. We have homework every week and a resource library that we share. So, and if you can't, it is recorded, Marie. Thank you for asking that. So by the end of your 6 weeks, you will have 18 1-hour coaching calls with me and how to dive deep into each of those roles. Learn how to cross-train. You'll have a 400 plus page policy and procedure manual for your hub. Now, if you already have one, this is an amazing place to come in and go revisit it, because that's a living, breathing thing. And it's live Zoom, interactive. And the cost of it is an investment, not a cost, excuse me. This investment in this ROI is $100 a month for 6 months. So you get a coach for 6 months that's going to dive deep with you and look at your homework. We have a student of the week every week, and we go from there. So with that, I want you to put some of your questions in the chat box. And if you sign up today, there is $100 off of your first month. Well, there you go. So you use Web 100 to save $100. And so I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to scan that QR code if you want. See some of you grabbing your phone. And then sign up for our next free session. That is 4 ways to develop your admin team to become a profit center. We definitely are going to touch on some of the things we said: the quantifying, the reviews and the referrals, how to deliver an extraordinary client experience. All right. So with that being said, oh my gosh, y'all are still on here. I was in share mode, so I didn't see. I'm like, did everybody get scared and run away? I mean, I'm a little forward, so maybe it is, but I like to call it like it is. Y'all are the secret weapon, the CEOs of the file. And I'm going to teach you also to help your agent stay in their lane. My husband was my business partner. We had a real estate team for 16 plus years. And I was like married to the biggest visionary of all time. So he's the guy that came in and was like, we have this great idea. We need to execute it yesterday. And I'm like, no, that's not part of our GPS. I'm going to teach you how to have those conversations. All right, so let's open this up. I can hang out a few minutes. I want to honor y'all's time. So if you have to bounce, I understand. Join us on our next webinar, get registered. There's a couple of people that had questions. So either unmute yourself and ask, and I'm going to go scan into the chat box because my private DMs are blowing up. Okay, what days are the classes? They're going to start. So I still want to put that information. Oh, y'all put it in there already. So it's every Tuesday from 2 p.m. Central Time. And they are pre-recorded. So if you miss it, don't worry. You're just going to miss out on having a lot of fun. I will tell you, we have a heck of a lot of fun here. Who the heck wants to do business and like be bored while you're in a class? Rather poke my eyes out. All right. So let's see who else. So Andrea had a question. You point out the best time to ask for referrals. What would those moments be? So that's what we teach you in the class. So if I just threw that out right now, and you went out and executed and didn't have the tools to get to that, that could be not so great either. There are natural organic points though. And I'm going to train you on the conversations that could be had when we're tying it to value. Hopefully, I'm sorry that like, come to the next free info session too. I might dive into that a little bit deeper. Let's see. Any other questions that I did not answer, please feel free to mute yourself. My chat box is so long right now, and I'm trying to see what I can catch up on. Oh, thank you. So there's the topics there that you can see in the 18-week course. Well, so I'll wait a couple more seconds, and if anyone doesn't have a question, we're going to proceed with our day. All right, team. Well, everyone have a wonderful week. I hope to see you at next week's webinar. It's actually a couple weeks. And we'll go from there. Y'all take care. Stay safe and healthy out there.